Well, that's enough of 2020, thank you very much. This year I bought a tremendous amount of fragrances. You'd certainly hope so, wouldn't you? I mean, I am a fragrance YouTuber. Like I said, I'm quite proud of some of these fragrance purchases. It's been a very good year for me, so much so that I can share with you these fragrances that I've purchased. I've actually never done a video like this where I've shared all of the fragrances that I've bought in the year, so that must mean that there's some really good things here. Anyway, I hope that this gives you some interesting ideas to further your fragrance journey and to further your fragrance collection. Let's start with an honourable mention. The one and only honourable mention that I've got for you here today is from the house of Fern, and that's Anatolia. I actually smelt this for the first time not too long ago at all, in fact just a couple of days ago on a live stream when I was sampling a lot of Fern stuff, and I mentioned that this is like a niche version or sort of a high concept, high budget version of Hugo Boss Bottled Oud. In fact, even if you've tried Hugo Boss Bottled Oud and you weren't a fan, I think that you should still definitely give this a try. This is oud and fresh green apple, and when I first ever smelt that combination with Hugo Boss Bottled Oud, I thought, wow, what a thought, what a revelation. It's such a great idea, and green apple, or just apple in general, if I'm honest, is really a stroke of fragrance brilliance when it's combined with oud. This has got other notes such as amber and incense. It has a resinous base for certain, but this is really quite brilliant because it has that wearability and that luxury of the original Hugo Boss Bottled, but there's all of this other balsamic elements and oud and incense, and well, it's used very well and smells very natural. And just with Fern's natural gift at blending, this is something that's quite incredible. And yeah, for a signature scent, totally brilliant. And I know that this is going to probably end up on potentially my spring list, but definitely my autumn list for next year. Let's get to the actual list now. This is Vanilla Fatale by Tom Ford. This is my number 10 spot. And I still like it. I'm still happy that I purchased 100ml in the airport in Los Angeles in, I don't know when that was, when we could travel. When was that? Like March, April. I first smelt this in Edinburgh in 2018 and fell in love with it. I thought that it was very, very silky and luxurious and a little bit perfumey, you know, a little bit feminine. If you're a vanilla floral fan especially, this is something that you should try out. It's very sweet. As I said, silky is a really, really good word for this, or even satin. There's a real luxurious texture to this fragrance that I really enjoy. It's going to be quite a departure for people who love tobacco vanille. It was for me. But the vanilla is similar and it just really works for me. Number 9 is something that I got quite recently in my recent haul. This is Hugo Boss The Scent Private Accord. I'm doing a comparison video of this and The Scent Absolute tomorrow, so I don't want to spoil too much. And if you want to see that, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. You'll get immediately alerted when that video is up. But this is, I really do enjoy Absolute, but people kept telling me, George, you're missing out, you've got to try that Private Accord, it's amazing. And I did, and I really like it. It's got this bitterness, this kind of dark chocolatey bitterness in here, which is a little surprising actually, and it really, really comes at you quite harsh in that opening, and to some people that might be a little bit off-putting, but as it really glides down, that bitter sort of like cooking dark chocolate really, really kind of fades and transitions well with the overall scent DNA. It's been really good for me this winter. It's been a fantastic designer for winter, and what I'm kind of starting to realise, to just kind of put that out there, is that Absolute is great for cold weather days. This is good for bitterly cold and freezing days, and for more special events also. Number 8 is Fern by Slumberhouse. Slumberhouse's latest release. Where is the wording here? Yeah, I did a nice little review on this, but this is a legendary house. This is a house that is quite difficult to get their fragrances. I won't really sort of go into the reasoning why, it's a very long story, but sometimes you can get them, sometimes you can't get them. And that has created a really interesting and intriguing kind of mythical kind of sense around them. This is a house that is for people who really love art, you know, really love that kind of hardcore creative. What can we do with fragrance? What's possible with fragrance? Having said that, this is actually quite light. This has got a really nice coconut and incense scent DNA with what I sense to be a little bit of tuberose as well. So yeah, it's kind of like Mitzer by Christian Dior and Fracas by Robert Piguet. It's kind of like that old school grandma-ish scent, but that coconut really livens it up and freshens it out and gives it a much more of a sunnier and springtime vibe. So really interesting, looking forward to wearing this in spring of 2021, no doubt. Which leads me to one of my spring staples of this year, and that is Givenchy Gentleman Cologne. And yeah, I've had an up and down relationship with this. If you've been following this channel throughout this year, for those of you who know my thoughts on this, sorry to repeat, you can sing along if you know the words. Fantastic opening, amazing opening, brilliant opening, one of the greatest citrus vetiver openings that I've smelt in a long while, and then it just sort of dissipates and fades into nothingness. It really does feel as though they had the budget, the foresight, and the time to really put a lot of effort into the notes for the opening, and then it just sort of becomes quite generic. If it just started out as that kind of generic designer fragrance, then you'd sort of forgive it a little bit more because it would be literally starting as it means to go on. But that first opening is just incredible, and then it can be a bit disappointing. But I did enjoy it. I've worn a lot of it this spring, and the more that I've just accepted what it is and the faults that it has, you know, I really have just enjoyed it, full stop. Number 6 is this bad boy right here, Armaf Club de Nuit Milestone. This was a very humbling experience. Melissa Imperial is my favourite fragrance of all time, as we all know, because I've just about said it 5 million times. But this is humbling. You know, when I smelt it, I was annoyed, I was irritated. I thought, wow, that smells really like Melissa Imperial. In fact, it smells eerily like Melissa Imperial. And I've worn it throughout the summer. Sometimes I've worn this instead of Melissa Imperial because the current version of Millie is subpar. It's not as good as previous versions. And there's a lot of people who will talk to me and contact me and message me about Creed. And they will say, you know, I just think that Creed are overrated now. There are people now smelling Creed in the current versions of Creed, which are weaker and less natural. And they're smelling Creed and they're saying, what's all the hype about? What's this house, this legendary house that people keep telling me about? This doesn't smell very legendary. This doesn't smell like amazing. And that's because they've kind of missed the boat now. Creed used to be an incredibly proficient and beautifully created fragrance brand, but now their fragrances are going down. They're going downhill. The truth of the matter is with this clone is that this has no right to be as good as it is. And the fact that it is quite shocking. I also have Armaf Club de Nuit Sillage, which is a Silver Mountain water clone. I'm going to be releasing a video about that on the 30th of December. Number 5 is this. This is Galloway from Parfums de Marly, and so simple, so straightforward. It smells like a citrusy, lovely, organic, citrusy lemonade and freshly printed paper, which shouldn't really go together. Bit of a bizarre kind of image in your mind, but that's what this smells like. There's more to it. Projection longevity is fantastic, which really helps, but this is a bona fide, lovely, quite thick, but yet quite citrusy summer fragrance. And if you're a fan of Parfums de Marly, I see a lot of people who say, I'm a fan of Parfums de Marly, but I've never tried Galloway. I could see the reasons for that, because Parfums de Marly are usually, you know, let's just throw as much dark, crazy spices and peppers and leather and all that kind of stuff into one bottle and just see what happens. And this is quite a different ideology from that. This is fresh, this is citrusy, this is almost like a fougere, and it's got that spice, no doubt, but it's aerated and filled to the brim with lots of different summery elements. But I'd still give it a go, and if you're looking for a summer fragrance that lasts and is going to give you solid performance, I'd really recommend trying Galloway out by Parfums de Marly. Number 4, I think, has been one of the most shocking hits of the year, especially with the controversy of YouTubers releasing fragrances. This isn't black tie that I'm about to pull out here. A video on that will be coming very soon, trust me. But no, this is Gravitas. It's just so Mr. Smelly, which is, of course, what you'd want. It's a fragrance that really showcases what Dan is about and what Dan likes, and it's really is a combination, if you will, of all of his tastes that we've heard of. And I just really respected that he made something that I knew was going to resonate with his fan base and people who are really into his taste. And just the fact that the execution of it was so high and so well done and so well crafted, it's a real testament to Dan Norton and Mr. Wilson, the perfumier. So it's a fabulous fougere, fabulous aromatic fougere. It really is, it does what it says on the tin, and it definitely has a solid amount of gravitas. Now we get into the nitty gritty, number 3, and this one is brilliant because everybody hates this one apart from me. I love it, and I get a lot of complaints when I wear this, but I don't care. I just really adore it, and it's a city on fire by Imaginary Authors. Let me tell you, when I wear this and when I smell this, it takes me to that kind of weird place that fragrance fanatics know when they're like, they've got a bit too far with this whole fragrance thing. There's this kind of like sexy, oily, musky smell that's in there that it just really, really works on my skin and really, really works for me. And that's what really keeps me going and really solidifies this. And that smell is so special and so powerful, and I really, really connect with it. And I just think, wow, that is such a beautiful scent, and yet so daring. That is what made me just wear it so much summer evenings. It's amazing. It's just such a work of art and fabulous. Number 2, though, is that kind of burning scent, but, well, added to it something else that makes it a lot more wearable and a lot more pleasant. And yeah, I got this only very recently. You can see the whole video that I did, but this is just my jam right now. This is Atkinson's His Majesty Lute. This is just my jam. Absolutely phenomenal. And I'll tell you what this is, what this smells like, right? That scent of a match, but then you blow it out and you get that smell with the burnt wood. That with By the Fireplace by Maison Margiela, flanked by 24 Gold. Yes, that is the picture of this fragrance, and it's absolutely phenomenal. You've got the vanilla, really, really quite intense, sweet, sort of Madagascan vanilla, I presume. Then you've got the nice wood infused with a little bit of tonka bean that's in By the Fireplace that really gives it that cozy scent. And then you have this roughness of a burnt match, and that is all within this bottle right here. I had this as my number 1 hidden gem for fall and winter, but I'm going to be cheeky because I think that this is also going straight into my top 5 in my winter list when that comes out. But yeah, I'm really high on this. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. And for people who enjoy things like 24 Gold, that oudi, amber, vanilla, but you also like the coziness and the warmth of By the Fireplace, but you want to be greedy and you want to have both, well, you can with this one right here. But what is my number 1 purchase or pickup or whatever from 2020? Well, I had to think about it a little bit because I really did like that Atkinson's, and there were a couple others that were in that list where I thought, no, maybe I like this a little bit more than whatever. But truly, when it came down to it, I knew what my number 1 was, what my favourite pickup of 2020 was. And that is a fellow reviewer's favourite fragrance. Or at least this is the Parfum Cologne version of it. This is Enigma by Roger Parfums. I think that the best way I could describe this is just kind of where I'm going with my fragrance journey, with my life. This has been a pretty decent year for me, actually, and I try not to take that for granted because I understand that it's been an incredibly difficult year for a lot of people. And I don't want to get too sentimental or anything, but the point is that this is very sophisticated, it's full-bodied, it's rich, and it's got this confidence and this tonality to it that is quite adult and quite mature. And at one point I probably wouldn't have thought that I could pull this off, but now I feel as though I can, and that's quite a lovely thing in a way, to showcase that my taste is maturing, but hopefully I'm maturing also. So that's quite a lovely little thing. But yeah, it's a phenomenal fragrance. Smells very expensive, smells very rich, smells very high quality. And, to go back to Creed, they better sharpen up because Roja Dove's coming for them. This is what is worth this price point. Creed, not so much anymore. So these were my top 10 and one honourable mention fragrance pickups that I got this year. Quite a year indeed. Please let me and everybody else know down in the comments, what did you get this 2020 and what were your favourites? I'll be looking forward to hearing and to responding to your comments. Anyway, I'm the Fragrance Apprentice. I hope that you got the information that you wanted, and I hope that you were potentially inspired or got some solid information that you needed. I'm the Fragrance Apprentice. I will see you tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.